A hat, a coffee filter, a car key, a watch. Things my father left behind. My father came to live with me in 2015 until he passed in 2017. He left me behind holding a history of sexual abuse and shame. His abuse left me captive, not able to fully realize my gifts and abilities. Just as me and my brothers hid the fact of my dad's alcoholism, I buried that he touched me inappropriately on more than one occasion. My earliest memories aren't very clear. I remember staring at my nightlight when my father would come into my bedroom, get into my bed, and lay behind me. A more vivid memory is of the last time he touched me. I was 15. I had my learner's permit and asked if I could drive to the Kennedy Center where I was a volunteer. My mother said she would ride with me as I needed a licensed driver to accompany me. My mother sat in the passenger seat as I sat in the driver's seat. My intoxicated father held the door open, knelt down beside me, and tried to slip his hand up my thigh. My mother sat silent until I looked at her with a look of fear, hoping she would protect me. She just called out, "David," which prompted him to stop. We drove in silence. Nothing was ever said about that incident or any of the other incidents. I just buried all the hurt and shame. Hands that were meant to hold, guide, and protect instead hurt and violated me. When my dad came to live with me, he was dying of prostate cancer, which had metastasized to his bones. He was in bad shape. His doctor prescribed a weekly regimen of chemo, but his cancer was too advanced, so the treatment stopped. When he came to live with me, I gave my dad my bedroom, and I moved to the bedroom in the basement. Given my father's failing health, I summoned the courage to confront him about the molestation. I wrote out what I was going to say, finally face to face. With shaky hands and trembling voice, I walked up from the basement to the bedroom where his frail body laid and read the letter aloud. As I read how the abuse affected me, he writhed and tossed and turned with every word I spoke. He kept saying, "No, I didn't do that," but I continued to read the letter aloud. His denial finally stopped. My voice strengthened as I finished reading. I felt as if a heavy load, a burden of pain and shame had been lifted. I needed him to know how much his abuse affected me, how it negatively impacted my life, how it held all the possibilities and dreams I had for my life captive, how it commandeered the choices I made that further detoured me from the choices that would allow all the good, the talent, the possibilities inherent in me to come to the fore. They were buried by the shame I felt. Studies have concluded that some form of father-daughter incestuous activity, ranging from minimal to brutal and aggressive, was found in 1 in 20 families. I've experienced the trauma-related effects that victims of incest often experience: people-pleasing, feelings of shame, betrayal, depression, anxiety, chronic pain, feelings of worthlessness, eating disorders. After my father died, I sought mental health treatment. It was one of the best decisions of my life. Therapy helps me realize that I didn't deserve the abuse, that I am worthy of love, that my parents were flawed and didn't know how to parent, that I'm strong, that I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. I am embracing the fullness of who I am, not putting myself down. I celebrate my accomplishments and greet challenges head on. I've forgiven my parents, and while I know what happened to me was wrong, I no longer let it define who I am. What outside forces have you allowed to define you? Are you operating as a victim or a survivor?